Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about foods from the 70s and 80s that I enjoyed as a child. Some are still around today in a different form, different packaging, and some are not, but it's not quite the same as when I was a little kid and I was enjoying these foods back in the day. So, in no particular order, these are the foods that I miss from the 70s and 80s, and like I said, some of them are still around. You can probably find even more of these online somewhere at some online store. But like I said, no particular order. These are things that I miss from the 70s and 80s. And first is Kugel. Kugel was a peanut butter spread that was had different flavors. Chocolate, cinnamon, I believe banana, and maybe just a peanut butter flavored in itself, but chocolate was everybody's favorite. Came in a little glass jar with a plastic lid and had goofy eyes on the logo. So Kugel, if you remember that, it was pretty good at the time. Everybody loved the chocolate one. Next, this was early 70s when I was very small, and I think I've looked these up recently, and you can still get these at certain suppliers online. I don't think you can get them at a retail outlet anymore, but Space Food Sticks, late or early 70s, the space race was in full swing, and food companies capitalized on that and tried to sell space-themed foods to the public. And besides Space Food Sticks, it came in a little foil wrapper. It's about half the size of a hot dog. I imagine, I remember, in a little foil pouch, you would pull it, and it would be like a sweet flavor. I forget what the flavors there were, but they weren't nutritional or like regular savory kind of foods. They were definitely sweet, probably peanut butter or chocolate. I remember chocolate Space Food Sticks, definitely. And the associated, at the time, Tang drink mix was also, I think Tang is still available in the stores, but Tang and Space Food Sticks. Tang was an orange flavored powder that you would mix in regular water. You could drink it hot or cold. Hot Tang was not too bad, actually, but cold Tang was definitely the more common of the two. Just a powder you would scoop in 2 or 3 spoonfuls into a glass of water, stir it up. So Space Food Sticks, that one. Hostess fruit pies, they still exist today, and it's just apple and cherry, and maybe regionally you can find a different flavor, but back in the day there was peach, lemon, chocolate, blueberry, boysenberry, something like that. Quite a range of flavors, and I missed the chocolate, definitely. Lemon was good. And I noticed at the local Safeway, they're not Hostess fruit pies, but they're store brand, and they still have a wide variety. They have the blueberry and I think lemon and chocolate. So the flavors are still out there, but the Hostess name associated with those products is no longer available. It's just cherry and apple, which is kind of boring. And if you ever get a Hostess fruit pie, put it on a plate, put a thin layer of butter on it, and nuke that thing for about 10 to 15 seconds. That is delicious. Just something to try if you ever feel like it. And you remember the spokesperson for Hostess fruit pies, Fruit Pie the Magician? And even back when I was little, fruit pie had a negative connotation. So I wonder if if that contributed to his demise as the spokesperson for Hostess fruit pies. And next is Hershey's chocolate is still available and for an ice cream topping or a chocolate milk mix, but this Hershey's chocolate came in a tin can, and you would have to open it with a can opener, puncture 2 holes in it, pour it on your ice cream, and you would refrigerate the open can, because the can was a little bit larger than a regular size soup can, like a Progresso soup can. That's about the size it was, and you wouldn't obviously use it all, and you wouldn't want it to go to waste, so you would put it in the fridge, and when you want to use it again, it would be obviously thickened up, and you couldn't pour it on your cereal or in your ice cream. And so I remember my grandmother would stick it in a pot of boiling water and kind of warm it up, because it's in a tin can. You couldn't microwave it. Microwaves were available back then, but definitely couldn't microwave a tin can. So you'd boil it in water or warm it up in boiling water. So yeah, Hershey's chocolate syrup in a tin can. And this is not a specific food, but things I don't see in food anymore. It's actual toys in cereal. I think that lasted up through the 90's, maybe later. And I think there's one or two times that I've seen in the cereal aisle that toys are still available in certain cereals, but not every brand, every product. When I was little, that was a main draw to get kids to buy cereal, and the toy was like, it was the toy in the Cracker Jack box. You dig that bad boy out before you even touch the cereal. And I remember opening the box of cereal. You'd open it up, and you knew the toy was in the bottom, because that's the first thing they threw in the factory. So I would shake it, I would put it on its side and shake it, and I could kind of see the package in the back, and I would fish it out with my hands well before I even ate a bowl of cereal. So toys and cereal, and I had a collection of cereal premiums is what they're called, but everybody calls them cereal toys or whatever like that. And speaking of cereal, and these are still available today, but not in the form that I remember, single serve cereal boxes. You can get a variety pack at the store for maybe 6 or 8 different varieties of cereal. But it's just to open the top and pour it into a bowl is the packaging. But when I was little, you could put the box on its side, and it would have a perforated line down the center, and on the top and the bottom look like an eye, and you could perforate that, open up the box, open up the bag, and pour milk into the box, into the bag, and eat the cereal out of it. It was designed like that. I imagine you can still do that, how it's packaged now, but it's just not the same. And if we ever went to like a Denny's or a Howard Johnson's back in the day, I would get the single serve cereal and open up the box and pour the milk in. And it's cool for a kid. Got my own personal little box of cereal. So definitely that's what I miss about it. And this is another thing. It's not necessarily food, but it's the packaging that came with the food, and that's baseball cards on Hostess, Twinkies, cupcakes, things like that. The box of Twinkies on the backside, you flip it over, and there'd be at least 3 cards, baseball players. I don't think they ever did football. And they weren't perforated or anything, so if you did want to save those, you would get the giant pair of steel scissors from your mom or whatever and try to cut it out the best you could, and it always got jacked up. I was never able to get a straight line. I wasn't thinking back in the day where I should just get a ruler and a razor blade and cut those open or cut them out. But definitely had those. I appreciated those as a kid. Those were very cool. Yeah, so baseball cards on Hostess Twinkies and cupcakes. Definitely missed those. And the next, I think you can still get these. I haven't seen them in a store ever, and the only place I would ever find these was at drive-ins when I was little. And it's Flicks Candy. I believe it's made by Ghirardelli, and it came in a little tube, and you'd peel the foil off and you would open the tube, and it'd be like Hershey's Kisses but flattened, very flat, and about the size of a nickel, maybe a quarter. And you just shake them in your hand, eat them. And so yeah, Flicks Candy. I looked them up online, and it seems like the packaging's been updated, so I think they still exist. It's just not how I remember them. Only being able to get them from at a drive-in. So whenever we did go to a drive-in, I would definitely get the Flicks candies. And another thing that's not necessarily food related, but has to do with food and packaging and things like that, is real actual toys in Cracker Jacks. They still provide prizes in Cracker Jacks, but it's not the same by any means. And I don't know when Cracker Jacks gave up on actual physical toys, but in the 70's and 80's when I was young, that was literally a prize. Man, I would get this toy, and it'd have some play value, I mean, it was a cheap plastic toy, but I would still enjoy it, and I would save as many as I could. I put them next to my cereal toys. I have a big old collection on top of my dresser. So yeah, real toys in Cracker Jacks. Now it's virtual, augmented reality, stickers. I actually have a couple here. And the app is cool, and you can, that's what it is all today. It's all online, digital technology. So they still have prizes in Cracker Jacks, it's just not the same. The app they have and that you download is cool, and it has some play value. There's games on it, but it's just not the same as the actual physical toy you could get out of a Cracker Jack box. And next is McDonald Land cookies. And if you remember, McDonald Land cookies came in a little box, kind of like Barnum's animal crackers, which we never called those. We never called them by their names. They were just animal crackers. Came in a little rectangular box with a handle on it. The ones I remember had a string on it, the animal crackers ones, but the McDonald's ones had the handle shaped like the McDonald's M on top of the box, and you would fold that up and carry it around like that serving of cookies in that box would last. You would tote that around, and it was pretty cool. And they would have a different packaging for the cookies in a Happy Meal box, and yes, they used to put a burger, fries, Coke, a toy, and a small package of cookies in a Happy Meals box back in the day. And they don't have the boxed cookies or the plastic packages of cookies that go in a Happy Meals box anymore. That I believe. I haven't seen cookies at McDonald's like that in a long time. And they had the regular animal cracker style cookies, and they had chocolatey chip cookies. They didn't call them chocolate chip because there was no chocolate in it, just chocolate flavored. So yeah, that's another thing I miss, is the actual box of McDonald Land cookies that you could get. And it's supposed to be top 10, but one more, and I already mentioned it, it's the Barnum's Animals Crackers. Even though I just called them animal crackers, and the box was kind of cool. Like I said, it had a string on top where you could hold it and tote it around. And later on they moved to the paper handle, kind of like the McDonald's Land cookies. And the packaging always, they made it seem like a train car. When the circus would come into town on a train, they would have, even though this didn't exist, even I don't think back when train cars for the circus existed, they'd have 4 different windows on the box, and it had like lions, tigers, camels, bears, oh my. And they would have kind of like 2 little wheels on the bottom of the packaging, so it made it seem like it was a train car, or even a caravan. Like maybe, I think Dumbo, the movie Dumbo, had these kind of wagons that had wooden wheels, but it made it seem like it was a train car and had different animals on it. And I miss those. I think those are still available, but it's just not the same as it used to be back in the day. So yeah, that's a quick list of the things I missed as a kid, food related wise. And if you can think of something I miss, that these are just things that I remember personally, and if you can think of something that you miss as a child, food related wise, let me know, and I'll be back the next video with more autographs, and after that, more nostalgia. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you later. Bye.